Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on the Rise News. Nigeria's mining sector is struggling. We don't need to say a lot about that. Let's put the numbers up as far as real GDP growth is concerned. Now, this, of course, includes, the petroleum and everything, so we have to take note of that. But as you can see, from the first quarter of 2021 all through to the fourth quarter of 2023, which is the lone quarter where we have positive growth, this sector is pretty much in recession. Global consulting firm KPMG has a new report on Nigeria's mining sector. It looks at the potential for FX earnings, job creation, and also the hurdles that need to be scaled. Very, very happy to have Mr. Peter Nwaobi with us. He's the Senior Manager, Energy and Natural Resources Group at KPMG Nigeria, and he's here to discuss the report with us. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Rotus.
Good to have you. So we summarized the report. I guess, can we start off by talking about the potential? Because your report just talked about the potential of the mining sector.
Yes, Nigeria's mining sector is very rich with great potentials indeed. So far, a lot of news has carried it. The minister has been noted to say it. Ministers have been noted to say it at several forums that Nigeria has over 44 identified minerals in commercial deposits scattered in several locations across the country. The opportunities are there. Nigeria is blessed. We have the mineral resources, we have the human resources, we have everything it takes actually to be able to maximize the potential that this sector actually provides and offers us. But the question is, are we really not leaving the food on the table? Are we really taking advantage of this very important sector to capitalize on it and get us back to where we used to be pre-oil discovery in Nigeria?
One of the issues raised, and we looked at it in the summary, you talked about data. The minister, when they had the sectoral defense thing in Abuja, when he came on stage, he said that he needs 200 billion naira for data. I don't know if your report looks into the amount of money needed, but can you talk about as far as the lack of geoscience data and how it's hampering the sector?
Okay, the lack of geoscience data is critical when it comes to mining. It's unlike other kinds of sector. When you speak about mining, you're speaking about what you may not necessarily see when you get to a particular location because they are buried deep, miles down below the surface.
Right.
So data is what actually makes you invest because you are essentially pre-informed as to what is beneath the earth and what you stand to gain. Not just the presence of those minerals in those localities, but the extent of those minerals in terms of reserves. When you talk about geoscience data, it's very important. Geophysical data, Nigeria is not where we should be. And the ministries, the government, they realize this. And that is why, like you said, it's not a very cheap venture to be able to do this. In fairness to the ministry, they've actually employed several global multinational geophysics firms they are currently doing these reviews as we speak, even now, and significant progress is being made. I'm not sure you're aware of the mineral reserve decision support system that was launched early last month, which is an online portal where you can actually access and view real-time information about minerals we have in the country. It's the first of its kind in the nation, and I think it's a step in the right direction. Are we where we need to be? Not really, but there are efforts in place and it's really expensive. So yes, the frameworks are on ground, the activities are ongoing, but it's a major deterrent. The absence or the unavailability of this sort of information is what actually makes investors think twice when it comes to Nigeria. They hear it, they know it, they read it like it's in our report that the minerals are there. Nigeria is rich in mineral resources, but the data to make that information bankable is not easily accessible.
All right. Now, the lack of critical infrastructure, that's also another hurdle that you pointed out in your report. So can you speak to how that's an issue as well for the sector?
It's a major issue, especially in terms of transportation. To run an effective and profitable mining business, it's not so much about being able to locate the minerals and being able to mine them from the earth or quarry them from location. It's also important as to how you're going to dispose them. So infrastructure in terms of transportation that will be able to assist companies lift the mineral resource that has been mined from point of origin to point of destination, from pit to port, from mine to market is very, very important. And globally, the most effective means of transportation is the rail system. the previous administration under Muhammadu Buhari president had identified the importance of rail and invested significantly on it, especially geared towards mining. If you recall, in 2021, the Takpe-Warri rail was commissioned, and it has actually helped to alleviate a lot of this, especially if it's strategic because of the Ajaokuta steel plant in Kogi State. So being able to link it to port. But if you must have effective rail systems in any country, they should not just be isolated. They should be connected to other ports of destination, such as that in Tinkan, in different parts, Calabar. So it should not just be a straight line from one destination. So it should be linked so that the network will be easily accessible in different parts of the country.
We have, in fact, after this, I think that we have event taking place in Zamfara. I think it's an airport that they're launching there. They've got gold and stuff, right? So I think this feeds into what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Insecurity, okay, this is a big one, right? Insecurity, I think that's on one hand. Then you've got the illegal mining and smuggling on the other. I mean, it comes up again and again and again. So I take it that's another big hurdle.
Yes, I will start from illegal mining. The minister was quoted to have said recently, I think in April this year, that Nigeria's mineral wealth could actually afford Nigeria up to $750 billion US.
It's amazing.
And NEITI last year in November released a report where they stated that Nigeria loses $2 to $3 billion annually to illegal mining.
Yeah.
In our view, that amount is being prudent.
Wow.
Because it's actually deeper than what you can imagine.
Yeah.
A lot is being done when it comes to illegal mining. The ministry is very aware. The government is aware. The roadmap that was launched in 2016, August 2016, which is going to elapse next year, it's a 10 years roadmap. One of the strategies that was noted there, which we have now actualized, is a way in which they can curb illegal mining. And one of those ways is to set up a security arm for the sector, solely for the sector, which this current administration under Honorable Dele Alake has now achieved by the commissioning and institution of the Nigerian mining marshals. A collaboration between NSCDC, Nigerian Army, the military, the police, and these guys they go into the forest to actually try to curb this. So there is a lot that we are losing annually on a daily basis as we are speaking to illegal mining. We saw what happened in Niger State recently, the mines that collapsed. It's also been linked to illegal mining. We saw the bomb explosion in Ibadan. It's been linked. So apart from the fact that Nigeria is losing money, we're also losing lives. And it also affects the environment when it comes to ESG. So illegal mining is critical and needs to be curbed as soon as possible. Insecurity, like you mentioned, we don't need to overflog it. Like you said, it's something that everybody is aware of, and I wouldn't want to drill deep. But the fact that there is insecurity in key areas that have been identified as mining hubs in Nigeria is, especially in the north central, it's a deterrent to foreign investors, and it's limiting the ability of these guys, the big guys, the Rio Tintos, the Glencores, the BHPs, to come into the country to come and invest here.
Yeah.
So it's these challenges are there. The government is trying their best, but I'm not sure we are beginning to reap full benefits from the effort they are putting in. So there needs to be a reevaluation of what they are doing, and there needs to be a strategic roadmap. The old one is dated, as I said, it's 2016, expiring next year. We need to reevaluate a roadmap that is strategic enough to be able to solve these challenges that the sector is currently facing.
Yeah. Hey, look, I mean, it's the same thing with agriculture. We're talking agriculture in our last segment, and how insecurity is impacting that. The lack of a robust fiscal framework and the need for project funding. Can you speak to those?
Absolutely. Lack of a robust framework. I mean, fiscal framework. It's about the laws. And every business is thinking, every investor is interested in the returns on their investment. Fiscal frameworks are so much about how the available legislations governing the sector can support their business, so they can be able to have a shorter period to make their returns on investment, to break even. Now, we have mining laws that are dated, because the only mining law we have, which has never been updated, is since 2007. It does not actually consider current realities. The world is moving towards ESG. And ESG investing is what multinationals are concerned about now. before multinationals will invest in any country, they want to know the country's culture when it comes to environment, social and governance principles. Are they upholding it? These are fiscal laws that are also limiting the country. Now, we need to be able to rejig our laws such that it will be able to encourage, it will be able to entice investors to come and invest in Nigeria. In incentives, in all fairness, Nigeria, the sector has significant incentives that should ordinarily be a motivation for multinationals to come. But we have seen over the time that it's not enough. These challenges we have mentioned are still standing like elephants in the room, staring at investors in the face. And until those elephants are brought down, it may be difficult to attract investment. On funding, mining business is capital intensive.
It's not cheap. It's
not cheap, especially if you want to go big and do it right. That is, you don't want to do the illegal means and do digging with shovels. And if you want to go into real mining, like what we are seeing in some parts of the country, there is a company, Avatar, in Nasarawa State that is looking into lithium and has currently constructed the first lithium processing plant in Nasarawa. I understand he's constructing another one, even while the first one is ongoing. That's to show you the potential of this country. I don't think any serious investor will want to put their money if they are not sure of what is there. So we should, on funding, the government should do more. Access to fund should be easier. The mining sector ministry has the SMDF, which was formed in the Mining Act. It's a functioning ministry, largely. When I say functioning, I'm not saying at the rate at which they dispense funds, but it's a life ministry that has directors and people in charge. From my experience speaking with industry players who have actually approached them, the ease of accessing those finance is not there. So these things should be easy. The awareness should be created. Let people know that yes, the ministry has an arm like this that is actually created solely to address their needs, their funding needs and all. Just before we wrap up, I know the ASC last year, the SMDF and the Africa Finance Corporation, AFC, had a collaboration where they pooled funds together to be able to assist ASMs who have bankable projects. So the important thing is that this information, is it available for people to even be aware of? So the process of getting access to it and all. This needs to be done. So,
excellent report. I encourage everybody to read it. Peter Nwaobi, Senior Manager, Energy and Natural Resource Group, KPMG. Thank you so much for talking to us.